Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai Satcharitra, an Insight, Episode 263. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, in the previous episodes, we have been heeding to the stunning leelas that were transpired by Sri Sai Maharaj to Mrs. Chandrabai Borkar. His grace and compassion extended even to her husband Ramachandra Borkar, who was a non-believer of God. As asserted, Sri Sai Maharaj took care of Chandrabai as his own sister in every walk of her life. His concern and care for her is unparalleled. His protection and guidance to Chandrabai continued even after his Mahasamadhi. The house of Chandrabai was situated at Ville Parle in Mumbai. After the death of her husband, the relatives began to trouble her. They threatened her by filing a suit against her in the court and claimed the house as theirs. She did not budge and only prayed to her Guru and God, upon whom she had unswerving faith. Still, for the sake of securing the house, she even gave them an amount of rupees 14,000 to free herself from these troubles. This was her only property and didn't want to let that go into the wrong hands. Chandrabai lived in one portion of the house and the remaining was let out for rent. This rent was her source of income. A few evil-minded people were jealous of her, so thrust into her house a lime filled with black magic, as that would harm the residents of the house and would not bring any tenant to reside in that house. This caused some trouble to her. She didn't know the cause of all this. She was not getting tenants to live in the house, so was under great stress. The all-merciful Sri Sai Maharaj appeared in her dream and told her about the lime fruit charm that was buried in her house and the bad impact that was causing. She was grateful to have got this timely guidance and blessings of Sri Sai Maharaj. Chandrabai breathed a sigh of relief and immediately, as per the directions, sent a person to Goa to the Devi temple, their family deity, to secure her intervention to break the black magic and spell of her enemies. Throughout her life, she remained as an ardent devotee of Sri Sai Baba. The great Lord, though was not in his mortal coil, showered his blessings and protected her in a subtle manner. She has been wanting to build a home mandir for her Sadguru Sri Sai Baba as a mark of gratitude. She couldn't execute this plan until 1958. After that year, a beautiful statue of Sri Sai Maharaj in sitting posture, as seen in the Sanctum Sanctorum of Dwarakamai, was installed on the Sri Ramanavami of that year, and the divine objects such as tooth and satka of Sri Sai is also placed in this temple. Hence, this is one of the must temples for the devotees to visit, says Ramanathan brother. With this note, we shall close this chapter and move to chapter 37 of Sri Sai Satcharitra. As always, Hemat Panji begins this chapter by quoting philosophies connected to the Leelas penned down in this chapter. Then, after writing the glory of his God Sri Sai Baba, he narrates the divine sport of Sri Sai Maharaj. This chapter is titled as Description of the Chavadi. It comprises of 220 OVs, and Hemat Panji has described it very skillfully so that the reader can bring the Chavadi procession to their mind's eye effortlessly. Hemat Panji emphasizes that earthly life is better and has given few philosophical evidence to prove this fact. He says, when compared to heaven, worldly life is far superior. He is reasoning it out by listing it in the OVs in a sequence. In the 14th and 15th OV, Hemat Panji says, detachment is heaven. Consider one's own Atma as the spirit that pervades the universe, excluding all sorrow. In that state, there is no cause for diseases, etc., nor worries, problems, pains, and no hunger or thirst, and none is afraid of old age, where there is no fear of death and no precepts and prohibitions. Life carries on without any fear whatsoever. That is the divine heavenly state. After glorifying heaven, Hemat Panji gives contradicting thoughts about heaven in the following OVs and questions us if we need to long for such a heavenly life. Let's listen to that now. What is the use of a heaven which is attained by the most difficult sacrifice, penance, and charity, but is devoid of the remembrance of Narayan's, that is the Lord's feet? If a devotee cannot listen or recite the stories of God and gurus or dance in ecstasy singing his glory, then what good will such a place bring to a devotee? The gist of this OV is, if our life is free from troubles and worries and only filled with joy and comforts, then we will never remember God. Will this kind of life secure us eternal happiness? Will our Atma be in bliss? Definitely not. Generally, one can remain in heaven until his store of past merits has been exhausted. Then the person is bound to come down and must take birth again and enjoy the pleasures and sufferings of the worldly life. This is the law prescribed in the Shastras. So, heaven is not permanent, then why earn for that? This reminds us of the prayer made by Kunti Devi to Lord Krishna. She pleaded the Supreme Lord to always give her misery. When the Lord asked her to reason it out, she said, if my life would be ever filled with happiness, then I might not remember you. Whereas if I face challenges and troubles in my life, then I will certainly remember you, beseeching your grace to protect us. Devotees, if this is the case of Kunti Devi, then what to say of our lives? Until we face difficulties, we don't remember God. This is the perspective of most of us. Through these OVs, Hemat Panji emphasizes the significance of remembering God in every moment of our life. In the 21st OV, Hemat Panji says, we do not wish for a place in heaven where there is only sensory enjoyment. Of what use is it to us if it makes us forget Govind's, that is the Lord's name? The same thought was reflected in the divine hymns sung by Thondaradi Podi Arvar. பச்சைமா மலைபோல் மேனி பவளவாய் கமலச் செங்கன் அச்சுதா அமரரேரே ஆயர்தம் கொழுந்தே என்னும் இச்சுவை தவிர யான் போய் இந்திர லோகமாளும் அச்சுவை பெரினும் வேண்டேன் அரங்கமா நகருளானே. Meaning, the form looks like a huge green mountain. The lips have the hue of coral. The eyes resemble a red lotus. O Achyuta, the leader of the celestials and the darling of the cowherds of Gokulam, I shall not desire, even if offered the position of the ruler of Indralokam, in lieu of enjoying the sight of you here, O Lord, who dwells here in Sri Rangam. In the above stated Pasuram of Tondaradipudi Alvar, the term Achyuta denoting the Lord is very significant. Achyuta means infallible, that is, the one who is eternal and unchanging. This also highlights the transcendental and divine qualities of the Lord. Owing to these supreme qualities, He would never let us fall from our spiritual practice. Instead, will always guide us to elevate to higher ladder in the spiritual realm. That is, attain liberation, unlike heaven, where one must come back to earth after enjoying the pleasures of their stored merits. Following this, Hemat Panji makes a comparison in the 22nd OV. Be it in heaven or in hell, the sensual pleasure is the same. The pleasures of Indra and an ass are exactly of the same nature. Indra moves about in his pleasure garden as happily as the ass rolls on the rubbish heap. The pleasures of both are comparable. There is not the slightest difference. Hemat Panji is not appreciating a place where the name of the Lord is not chanted. Thus, he concludes earthly life is far superior to the heaven, as we can incessantly chant the holy name of the Lord and ever remain absorbed in his thoughts. This OV also underscores the significance of human life and how that helps us to attain the goal of life. Also, in the next OV, Hemat Panji asks, what good will it bring to a devotee even if his lifespan is extended to thousands of years but has to remain in a place where there is no remembrance of God? Instead, a brief lifespan on earth is better, as one can ever remain in the memory of God. In one of the dohes, Sant Kabir mentions the above thought. पाप पुण्य की शंका नहीं, स्वर्ग नरक नहीं जाहे, कहत कबीर सुनहारे संतो, जहां का तहा समाही. Commentary. I don't mind if it is sin or virtuous deed. I don't care if it is heaven or hell. Ho, sadhus, listen. I am myself and in myself. The words I am myself and in myself indicates that he is ever absorbed in the state of bliss, which is his self, that is the Atman. After highlighting the importance and benefit that a human would reap by living on earth, Hemat Panji is continuing to talk about some interesting topics. Let's heed to those now. In the 80th OV, Hemat Panji uses a beautiful simile to glorify the blessings a guru would grant to that of a person that has command over charms and spells. He writes, as the collyrium from one who has mastered over black magic shows the wealth that is buried under the earth to the person that is born with legs foremost, similarly, the dust from the Guru's holy feet will grant spiritual and scientific knowledge to the devotee. Devotees might wonder what it means to be born with legs foremost. As per astrology, the birth of a child is described as Sirshodaya and Prishthodaya. The child born with head rise is categorized under Sirshodaya Rashi, and the one born with feet rise are classified as Prishthodaya Rashi. Most of the children are born under the first category. The second type is very rare, and in the above simile, Hemat Panji uses the second type to compare with the blessings that a devotee would reap from the Guru. Why do the astrologers give importance to this? It's because the astrologers would like to know the exact time of the birth of a child to prepare the horoscope. The astrologers always disagree in this. One group of them believe that the time when the child was first placed on earth must be taken into account for preparing the horoscope, whereas the other group suggests that the time when the child looks the world for the first time must be considered, or the time when the feet of the baby touches the earth, that is Bhupadav, must be given importance. Great astrologers such as B.V. Raman suggest that when the umbilical cord of the baby connected to the mother's womb is cut, the child would have a shortness of breath, as that is the first time the child is trying to inhale oxygen from the earth. Since this is the first breath the child takes by inhaling the air on earth by itself, this moment must be considered for preparing the horoscope of the child, says few. After discussing such interesting topics, Hemat Panji continues to talk about Guru Namasmaranam, that is the significance of chanting the Guru's name by the devotee, and says even the Guru does Bhakta Smaranam, that is chants the name of the devotees. In the earlier episodes, we have heard that Sri Sai Maharaj would pick up a small pouch that contains coins from his kafni, rub them in his palm and say, Kaka che, Nana che. This is a testimony of Sri Sai Maharaj recalling the names of his devotees ceaselessly. Sri Sai asserts, you are responsible for your actions. For me, I constantly dwell upon you. Many people will remember such loving words from Baba, and it is quoted in the 93rd OV. Following this, the benefit of reading Sri Sai SATCHARITRA is given by Hemat Panji. How beautifully Hemat Panji has live telecasted the Chavadi procession by his descriptive writing. What are the benefits of reading this chapter and advantages of reading Sri Sai Satcharitra can be heeded in the coming episode. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.